Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're strapping in for an exploration of a gaming world that, well, just refuses to fade away. Heroes of the Storm, or HOTs, as many still call it.
Exactly. And our guide through this enduring arena, it's the collaborative knowledge base that is NamoWiki.
Which is amazing, right? For those maybe not familiar, NamoWiki is this huge user-driven encyclopedia that's well, it's proof of what shared knowledge can do.
Yeah, it's constantly updated by the people who really know their stuff.
Right. So for you, our listener, maybe you're a MOBA fan, maybe you love Blizzard games, or maybe you're just fascinated by online gaming history. Our mission today is to really get a handle on this specific MOBA.
We're aiming to pull out those key insights, those surprising details that kind of illuminate the game's whole story without, getting lost in every single detail.
Because there is a lot. Our goal is finding those really interesting nuggets that define HOTS and explain its pretty unique journey.
Which brings us to something fascinating right off the bat.
Yeah. So Blizzard officially stopped making new content back in 2022, right? But here we are in 2025, and HOTS isn't just playable.
It's getting balance patches.
Exactly. And there are even whispers, like little hints recently about maybe future developments. It's wild.
It really is. Okay, so let's dig into that persistence. Maybe start with the core, the gameplay, the mechanics.
Good idea. So at its heart, it's a MOBA, right? Multiplayer online battle arena. Came out June 2015, PC and Mac.
Yep. And what's interesting is how it tried right away to be different within that MOBA space.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Remember the specialist role? That was super distinct at launch.
Totally. They weren't just damage or healing. They were about objective, pushing lanes strategically. It was a really bold choice.
Though they did change it later, didn't they?
They did. They kind of folded those ideas into more standard roles: warrior, bruiser, melee assassin, ranged assassin, healer, and support. It shows they were willing to, experiment and refine things.
It does. And the sheer number of heroes. NamoWiki says 90 on the Korean server. That's a lot.
It is. And the roster itself is compelling. It's this all-star lineup from Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Overwatch.
And even some original Nexus heroes created just for the game.
Right. Plus, you can't forget Cho'Gall.
Oh, man. Cho'Gall. The two-headed ogre needs two players. That's such a unique design concept.
Definitely a sign they weren't afraid to try weird stuff. Okay, so how do these heroes power up in a match? No item shop, right?
Right. They went with a talent system instead. At levels 1, 4, 7, 10, and so on, up to 20, you pick a talent.
These modify your skills, sometimes grant new ones. Level 10 is the big one. That's your heroics ability, your ult.
And level 20 gives you those storm talents, which are often massive power boosts. Sounds super flexible, like you could build heroes in lots of different ways.
Well, that was the intention, yeah. Encourage different play styles, adapting mid-match. But NamoWiki points out a common criticism.
Which is?
That it often boiled down to finding the best build. Certain talents just became known as weaker trap talents.
Ah, okay. So maybe less actual freedom than it looked compared to, say, an item system where combinations might matter more.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
If the math clearly favors one talent, competitive players will lean towards it. It's a tough balancing act, especially with so many heroes.
Makes sense. Another thing that really defines HOTS is the max, right? The battlegrounds. Lots of different ones.
Unlike MOBAs with maybe one main map, HOTS has a bunch, each with unique objectives you have to play around.
But you don't get to pick the map in most modes.
Nope. In AI, quick match, unranked, ranked, it's random. NamoWiki says that's a callback to Blizzard's RTS games like StarCraft, where map pools were standard.
Huh. Yeah, you definitely had maps you loved and maps you groaned at seeing. It adds an element of randomness each game.
It does. Now, speaking of getting started, the tutorial uses the Cursed Hollow map. Pretty standard 3 lanes, objective pops up.
And NamoWiki mentions this cool little detail about the AI in the tutorial.
Oh, yeah. Apparently your AI buddies will kind of hang back near the objective, the tribute, even if you ping them to go, until you move towards it.
That's clever. Like subtly teaching you, hey, this objective thing, it's important, you need to go do it.
Exactly. Smart design. Okay, so let's shift gears. How can you actually play HEP-ITs? Let's start with try mode.
Right, the practice area.
Think of it like your personal hero lab. Not competitive, just a space to mess around with any hero, any skin, see if you like them before you buy.
And you have tons of control, right? Set level, pick talents, reset cooldowns.
All of that. Spawn minions, add AI enemies or allies, change game speed, reset forts. It's got practice dummies, a simple single-lane map. Malfurion is your default ally, Arth is the enemy, but you can change them.
Sounds perfect for just figuring out how a hero works without any pressure.
Exactly. Then there's versus AI, your standard player versus environment mode.
Play against computer opponents. You can set the difficulty, novice up to elite.
Yep. And you can choose if you want other human players on your team that's co-op or if you want AI teammates too.
Interesting that the AI hero pool changes with difficulty. Like, NamaWiki says you won't see an AI Oriole until medium difficulty or higher.
Right. And if your whole team is AI, it's basically a single-player game.
Yeah.
Now, the elite AI, they're meant to be tough, but NamaWiki notes their patterns are still pretty predictable.
Exploitable by experienced players, you mean?
Kind of, yeah. They give examples like on Alterac Pass or Hanamura Temple where the AI might make, let's say, questionable strategic choices, over-focusing on camps, maybe?
That tracks with AI in a lot of games, doesn't it? Good mechanics, maybe, but sometimes lacking that human strategic intuition.
Pretty much. In co-op versus AI, where you team up with humans against the bots, NamaWiki says even the elite AI can sometimes coordinate abilities, which is cool.
But they still have those flaws, like dodging skill shots too much or ignoring the main objective.
Exactly. They mention the AI struggles against heroes like Hammer and Siege mode or Stukov just because their movement is easy to predict. So maybe not ideal for high-level practice.
Okay. What about playing with AI teammates against AI enemies?
That's AI teammates mode. Again, adjustable difficulty. NamaWiki points out the big thing here is lack of communication, which slows things down.
Makes sense. Can't really coordinate plays with bots.
Although apparently on easier difficulties, a viable strategy is just tell all your AI teammates to push mid lane constantly.
Huh. Really? Just air ram it down mid.
Seems like it can work. NamaWiki even suggests heroes like Hammer, Sylvanas, Gazlo, Zagara are really good for this mode, probably because they push lanes so well and the AI can kind of follow along.
Gotcha. And the last AI mode is training.
Yeah, this one's purely for brand new players. Locked to novice difficulty, even easier than standard novice AI, apparently. You get Raynor for free.
And shorter respawn timers. Max 30 seconds.
Right. But crucially, you only get XP. No gold, no quest progress. It's just about learning the absolute basic.
Player versus player. Quick match first. Seems like the go-to mode for many.
It definitely became that, especially after ranked updates stopped. Called Bidet in Korean. The big draw. No draft. You pick your hero, you play that hero. Guaranteed.
Okay, but does it try to make somewhat balanced teams, or is it just total chaos?
It tries. NamaWiki says the matchmaker aims for things like having a warrior and a support on each team, limits on melee assassins, ranged, stealth heroes.
But it's not perfect.
Not always. Especially if matchmaking takes longer, it loosens the rules.
Yeah.
And mirror matches, same hero on both teams, definitely happen. The team comps can be unpredictable.
And I bet pre-made groups of 5 have a big advantage.
Oh yeah, coordination is key. NamaWiki mentions a former director wasn't prioritizing big matchmaking improvements for QM, but maybe that's changed since. Hard to say.
So QM sounds convenient for playing who you want, but maybe a bit of a lottery team-wise. Good for practice, maybe?
Decent for practicing a specific hero against real people once you know the basics, yeah. And choosing random hero can get you faster queues, sometimes bonus XP if you fill a needed role.
Okay. What about unranked draft? Sounds like a middle ground.
That was the idea. It has the band pick draft like ranked, giving you that strategic team building element. But no party size limits, and it uses a separate MMR, that hidden skill rating.
So more strategy than QM, less pressure than ranked.
Sort of. But NamaWiki says draft dodging people leaving during the pick phase was an issue, and its popularity kind of tanked after changes to Team League. By 2020, it was apparently often filled with high-skill 5 stacks.
So maybe not the casual draft mode it was meant to be anymore. Interesting that your QM and unranked MMR affect your ranked placements, though.
Yeah, they feed into your initial seeding. Now, for ranked itself and also for brawls, NamaWiki just links out to separate pages, so no deep details here today.
Okay, fair enough. But we do have info on custom games.
We do, very much like StarCraft 2's custom games. You create a lobby, invite friends, pick the map, can even enable pausing.
But no XP or gold, right? Just for fun or practice.
Exactly. Use a lot for friendlies, community tournaments, and it's the only mode with spectating built in. You can add AI bots to set their difficulty.
And there's a sandbox mode within custom games.
Yep. On Cursed Hollow and Full Sky Foundry maps, lets you tweak hero levels, damage multipliers, toggle god mode. Great for testing stuff.
NamaWiki mentioned a weird exploit with Greymane.
Huh, yeah. His Cursed Ebola heroic If you crank damage up to 300%, apparently it could one-shot almost anyone unless they had a specific level 20 talent against percent damage.
Crazy. Any quirks with custom games?
A few bugs mentioned. Spectators promoted to host might lose the sandbox tools. Also, you can play ARAM, all random, all mid, in custom games.
How does that work? Just everyone picks random?
You can set it to force random heroes, yeah, even if the normal select screen shows up. Or you can do a draft specifically on the ARAM maps.
Cool. And you can assign band duty and stuff?
Yep, transfer hosts, assign team captains for bands. There are different spectator roles, too. Spectator versus referee who gets all chat access. And apparently, a bug sometimes kicks party members when joining a lobby. Little things.
Always little things. Okay, let's talk social stuff. Chat.
Ah, chat. NamaWiki jokes that during long queue times back in the day, chat was the main content for some players.
I can believe it. But it also mentions that general chat could be, well, a bit much. Like old-school battle.net.
Yeah, kind of like that. A very lively mix. They even give the command to leave the general channel. Should. Good to know.
Definitely. And you can mute chat altogether if needed.
3 different ways to mute, apparently. So you have options if you prefer peace and quiet.
Good. What about private messages? Whispers?
Yep, ping text for whispers. The blocking system is interesting. NamaWiki compares it to Fan Cafe, where the sender knows if they've been blocked.
Oh, wow. And they mentioned people sending an insult, then immediately blocking. That's creative trolling.
Uh-huh. Then you've got group chat. Purple for your party, light green for the lobby chat, in draft or custom games.
And you can't talk to the enemy team during a match normally?
Not unless they're on your friends list already. Only in custom games can everyone see the full team chat.
Gotcha. And specific chat channels.
Yeah, you join with K plus the channel name. You can make custom ones. Official channels are General, Storm League, new players. Lots of hidden ones too. The advice. Maybe steer clear of General if you want less noise.
Sound advice indeed. Okay, let's pivot to the setting, the lore. Or maybe lack thereof, initially.
Right. So HOTS is this huge crossover.
Yeah.
Heroes from Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Overwatch, all pulled into this place called the Nexus.
But NamaWiki stresses they're kind of disconnected from their original stories.
Exactly. No direct link to what happened in their home games. Early on, the explanation was super simple. Heroes get pulled into the Nexus, they fight. That was basically it.
No big explanation for why the Nexus exists, who made it, why they fight immediately.
Not really. NamaWiki suggests this was likely deliberate, trying to avoid the messy contradictions you can get when smashing multiple complex lores together.
Like those big all-star fighting games, KOF 98 or Marvel vs. Capcom, where it's more about the characters fighting than a deep story.
Exactly that kind of idea. The focus wasn't really on deep character storytelling for most heroes. It relied on you already knowing and loving these characters from their own games.
Though NamaWiki mentions a few exceptions, like Strethammer, Brightwing, LT Morales. They got a bit more HOTS-specific backstory.
Yeah, a few got more development within the Nexus context, and while a big overarching plot wasn't the main thing, subtle hints of lore did appear.
Like details on the maps themselves. And those NNN news broadcasts. I remember those.
Yeah, those were fun little world-building bits hinting at tech and life in the Nexus beyond just the battles.
And there were official comics too, right? The Nexus comics?
Yep, 4 issues available online that explored original AKS storylines. Gave a bit more depth.
Plus all the cinematic trailers for hero releases and events. Those were often really impressive.
Definitely. NamaWiki notes the animation style even shifted over time, and lots of intro videos showcasing features and gameplay. They clearly invested in presentation, even if a complex narrative wasn't goal number 1.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, how about connections outside the game? Like with other Blizzard titles and BlizzCon?
Oh yeah, tons of cross-promotions. With Overwatch, wow. Warcraft 3, Reforged, Hearthstone, StarCraft, Diablo 3, all of them.
You could earn stuff in XES by playing other games, and vice versa.
Exactly. Play Hot Sis with friends, maybe get an Overwatch skin, buy Overwatch, get Tracer in Hot Sis, reach certain levels in Hot Sis, unlock pets or mounts in YW.
I remember getting the Hearthstone card back mount in HS.
Yep.
And Artanis from playing StarCraft.
Yep. Lots of those specific examples in NamaWiki. It was a big push to get players trying out the whole Blizzard ecosystem.
And BlizzCon was a big source of exclusive stuff, too.
For sure. Attending BlizzCon or buying the virtual ticket between 2014 and 2021 got you unique mounts, portraits, even the hero Orphea one year. Those became pretty sought-after collectibles.
Cool. All right, let's lighten things up a bit. Easter eggs. NamaWiki has a whole list.
Oh yeah, a pretty long one. Hidden secrets all over the maps, even in the interface. Lots of nods to other Blizzard stuff or just fun little things.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, on Blackheart's Bay, if you attack the water near the docks enough, sharks jump out briefly.
Yeah.
On Sky Temple, click the well lid under the boss spawn point repeatedly. Harrison Jones pops out and flies off on a carpet.
No way. And he shows up elsewhere, too.
Yep, on the Tomb of the Spider Queen loading screen. And sometimes in-game, if you click the gems, the Spider Queen drops.
Yeah.
And the Diablo Treasure Goblin is on Infernal Shrines and Battlefield of Eternity loading screens.
Can you click him?
Not him, but you can click the weapon racks on those maps, and you get the inventory full sound from Diablo 3.
That's great. What else?
There was even a hidden minigame when Krazheim came out. Clicking a spot on the main screen tree launched a playable Duck Hunt clone.
Seriously? Duck Hunt?
Yeah. It even got updated later to feature Rexar's bear, Misha, instead of ducks. Same game, though.
That is amazing. Any others jump out?
Let's see. A Papa cosplay figure in CMC armor on Warhead Junction. The WoW Soul Healer sometimes appears in Towers of Doom replays.
Oh.
And the target dummies in Tri-Mode.
Yeah.
If you kill them, they turn into Murky's Easter egg skin before respawning.
Yeah, of course they do. Even individual heroes have them.
Yep. Change Tychus's base skin color tint, and the logo on his shoulder changes. Sometimes it's Widowmaker's or Tracer's logo from Overwatch.
Whoa, cool detail.
And the Corpse Vulture mount. Different characters are visible in the cockpit depending on the color variant you pick. Just tons of little hidden things.
Shows a lot of care went into it. Okay, let's switch to the game's history. NamaWiki mentions Mike Morhaime regretting not jumping into MOBAs earlier.
Yeah, acknowledging it was tough, competing with League and Dota 2 already being so established. The first announcement was actually way back at BlizzCon 2011.
And it was called Blizzard Dota originally.
It was a direct nod to the Warcraft 3rd mod origins. But development took a while, and then there was that whole trademark issue with Valve over the Dota name.
Right, so it became Blizzard All-Stars for a bit.
Yep. Then finally landed on Heroes of the Storm. There was huge anticipation, though. People were excited to see heroes like the Orc Blade Master or Sylvanas in that engine.
And the beta phases were pretty sought after.
Oh, yeah. Technical Alpha started March 2014, then closed and opened betas. Lots of hype. The full release finally happened June 3rd, 2015.
And NamaWiki has links to all the patch notes, from Alpha right through 2022.
Seems like it. A massive history of changes and balancing over the years.
Plus all the seasonal events, Lunar Festival, summer events, Hallows End, Winter Veil.
Right, those ran pretty consistently from 2015 to 2021. Themed quests, special loot boxes kept things fresh periodically.
But then, the updates slowed down and eventually stopped.
Yeah, NamaWiki tracks the gradual departure of developers. The last one apparently left in June 2022, and the official announcement ending active development came July 9th, 2022.
Which NamaWiki calls a death sentence in terms of new content.
Pretty much, yeah. No more new heroes, maps, big features expected after that. A tough moment for the community.
But, and this is key, the server stayed on. It went into maintenance mode.
Exactly. Focus shifted to just keeping it running, rotating seasons. And like we said, surprisingly, balance patches are still happening in 2025.
NamaWiki mentions specific examples of ability changes, even bringing back old brawls sometimes.
It shows some level of ongoing support, even if it's limited. It's not completely abandoned.
It's also interesting that some Overwatch 2 talents seem inspired by HOT's hero designs.
Yeah, that cross-pollination of ideas happened.
Totally.
I mean, the return of BlizzCon in 2026, that announcement trailer had a few things that got the HOTS community buzzing, wondering if it might signal something more. Probably wishful thinking, but...
Yeah, hope springs eternal, right. Now, unfortunately, this main NamaWiki page doesn't go super deep into the game's reception or controversies beyond that early Dota name thing.
Right, those look like they have their own separate NamaWiki documents. Same for detailed esports analysis.
It does list past leagues like the HGC, the Heroes Global Championship, which was Blizzard's official circuit.
Yeah, mentions its structure for 2017-2018 before it was discontinued in late 2018, which is a huge blow.
And it lists a bunch of pro teams active and disbanded across all regions, so there was definitely a real scene there, and maybe still a community one.
Definitely. Oh, one more recent thing, starting late March 2025, Xbox Game Pass subscribers get some benefits in HOTS if they link accounts.
Oh, really? Doesn't say what benefits?
Not in this source, no.
Yeah.
But again, another sign it's not completely off the radar.
Interesting. Any other fun tidbits from NamaWiki?
Let's see. Early Blizzard Delirio concepts apparently had super simplified stats just focusing on DPS.
Hmm.
AKS isn't considered a popular game in Korean PC bangs, which sometimes causes install issues there. There's that weird nickname Malos connecting it to Uma Musume.
Okay.
And that story about an indie dev joking they'd make a HTS replacement because they were sad it was declining speaks volumes about the passion people had for it.
It really does. And if people want to dig deeper themselves.
NamaWiki lists tons of related sites.
Mhm.
Community forums, stat trackers like ATS logs, Hotsabi, hero counters, wikis, esports sites, fan pages. The community is still clearly active and resourceful.
Plus all the internal links on NamaWiki itself for specific topics.
Exactly.
So wrapping this up, diving into NamaWiki really shows that Heroes of the Storm, even in its current state, has this incredibly rich history. It's packed with unique ideas, beloved characters, and a community that just won't quit.
Absolutely. We've touched on, the unique roles, the talent system debate, the huge variety of game modes, how it wove together Blizzard's universes, the esports scene's journey, and the fact that it's still getting balanced tweaks.
And it really does come back to that initial surprise, doesn't it? That this game is still here, still being played, still getting some attention, the dedication of whoever is left supporting it, and the players sticking with it. It's quite a story.
It really is. So maybe here's a thought to leave you with. Considering that dedicated community and these little signs of life, what could a real reawakening for Heroes of the Storm even look like today? If Blizzard decided to reinvest, what would be the absolutely crucial things needed for it to succeed in the, current gaming world?
That's a great question to ponder. We definitely encourage you to explore the game, its community, maybe even check out some of those resources. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.